Spring is springing, but the nation's stuck inside. We're quarantining, social distancing's been applied. So, what do we do now as we let Fauci sort it out? We're feeling so blue now, we just want to hug it out. We're gonna do it, we're gonna hug it out. From a responsible distance, we're gonna dial in and hug it out. As a nation we blew it, we just kept on going out. But we're getting through it, cause the one thing we can do is hug it out.
Live from the Parts Unknown Studios in Nashville, Tennessee.
Right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pal. Woo!
Well, hug it out. Let's hug it out.
It smells so good. You want to have a party? Oh, yeah.
Making our triumphant return to the mic. It's been years, people, but we heard the signal, or possibly we were just quarantined. But that's right, people. The Bear Hug It Out podcast is back.
Yeah, we actually have more in our live studio audience right now than what WrestleMania had.
That's true. Man, it's so good to be with you
Everybody-
guys again.
I gotta say, feels like we never left.
That's because we're all friends and we see each other all the time. So,
And to be fair, I had no idea this was even available as technology until we all got quarantined. We might have been doing this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Brandon, and your last time we recorded a podcast, you were still living life as a radio producer, and I understand that the industry of radio likes to pretend like no technology has advanced in the last 20 years.
That's true.
True. Like, no,
That's very true.
Don't look over there. Let's just keep
FM.
in our lane.
It's
Yeah.
the height of
Radio is the
technology.
future.
That's right. We'll tell you what to listen to, damn it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So a lot's happened.
Speaking of the future, I think we just saw the future of professional
Oh
wrestling.
my God. I mean, okay. Show of hands. Who's been kind of a lapsed fan since the last time we podcasted?
Maybe not the last time we podcasted, but lapsed.
Yeah.
Lapsed.
Is that since Roman stopped calling you?
This joke is not funny. That man is married.
Tell yourself that.
Whatever.
So since we last podcasted, one of us has turned down a job with the WWE.
Don't say that. We're not putting that out there.
We just did.
We're not. Oh my God. Cut that part out. I'm serious. I'm dead ass.
It says record right there in the top.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
it
edit
says
it.
record.
Don't put that part in.
I don't think you can edit these.
No, you can't. This is. You turned them down.
You turned them down. Yeah, they're not coming back. You burned that
Yeah.
bridge already.
I'm done talking.
Anybody can come back. Ultimate Warrior came back.
I think it was a good idea for you to not take that job because right
They're
now.
great people. They're great people.
Yeah.
It literally, like, what it was, they're amazing people. The people I met there. I mean, it's WWE, of course. It wasn't the right time.
Notorious
in my
not
life.
to be great people.
Yeah, we have a
So,
reputation for being really great people.
Yeah.
The people that I met there.
Owen Hart's wife raves about him.
Oh.
Stop.
Oh.
The people that I met while I was there, they were amazing and incredible, but it just wasn't the right time for me.
That's the most.
Yeah.
That's the worst politicking answer. I've
Yeah.
ever heard.
Any of the
I'm not
other
even-
four of us would be here dog cussing them.
Well, you know what's interesting? I'm the only one who got to go up there, so maybe because I am politicking. Oh.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely can
Are you trying to
go
go
there.
on the list right now?
She's trying to Garfunkel us.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna Garfunkel you.
She has Garfunkel us.
How many minutes are we into our triumphant?
I know,
return
get
before
over it.
Already
Already gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Put it over.
Before she Janetti's us.
You guys, but never forget. We
Never
are
forget.
star.
I'm bigger than all of you. We know.
You're safe.
Yeah,
Come on.
Hey,
We
Tori,
know.
How many of these do you have, by the way?
I don't have any, and
How
I
many
don't.
hardware slashed around your
Where's the
shoulder?
hardware?
I hate it here.
All right. Okay. Before we start talking about the actual matches, I like 2 nights of WrestleMania. I like that because we're
Oh, yeah.
done by 9:30. Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because those one nights are just so freaking long.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If they didn't, I've got two questions about it, and nobody's going to have answers, but were they going to fill the arena one night, sell separate tickets, and then fill it the second night on like a different ticket schedule?
I
So
think
you had to
they-
buy 2 tickets?
I think they would have just done one night. It was just the
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, I
Oh,
assume it
really?
was only because of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was.
But they
bigger.
might.
No.
I bet they'll start doing it like that from now on, though.
Well, the follow-up question was going to be, does that mean they're sacrificing the Saturday Fan Expo? Because that's actually the better part of WrestleMania, if you're going to be there live.
Yeah,
as far
that's
as I'm
true.
concerned. So I wouldn't want, from my couch, it was nice having it broken up like this. But if I were there, I'd still want to have the Fan Expo.
Life may be from your couch from here on out. So
Yeah, this is the new norm.
Yeah. How many years of WrestleMania are we going to have
Right.
without an audience? There's really no telling.
well, what'd you guys think? What'd you guys think of the experiment?
I actually felt like not having an audience. The only time I missed having an audience was during the entrances. That was the only time I even really noticed it. I actually really liked hearing their like in-ring banter. It was weird at times and it was like awkward
Yeah,
at times.
I
But a
did
lot of
not.
times it was great. A lot of times it really just like took it
Yeah.
to another level.
I'm with you, Hambone. It's like
Yeah.
I
Like
thought it
it?
was super awkward. I felt like I was 30 years too old to be watching it. It just felt weird. It
Well,
felt weird.
let's not. I mean, yes, we might be, but it was like talking during sex could go really good or really bad.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
like
It's true.
like that was there was some really bad. It was depending on who was doing it, and they were
Right.
just like some
Yeah.
bad acting was like, oh, you just took me out of the whole thing by your awful trash talk in the middle of the match.
Well, it really was theater. Like that's what it felt like a conservatory theater class sometimes. Where you're like, this is uncomfortable, but I can't look away.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked most of it. Well, I don't know. I still have mixed feelings.
I liked hearing the fists, like the
Yeah,
fists
yeah.
slap against skin. I mean, there was a lot of that. There were the moment when the Usos slammed Kofi's face into the ladder and then said, "I'll flatten your face like a pancake, boy." That was like the highlight of the
Yeah.
whole WrestleMania. So there, and listening to my queen Charlotte,
Yeah, that was good.
yeah, she just owned the ring even with the trash talking. So I actually liked it.
I feel like some of the big moments, like the title changes, were just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
You
of no
needed the
crowd.
crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Otis's moment. I wish there was a crowd there for that.
Mhm.
that was
On the other hand,
Yeah.
though, like a lot of moments, if the crowd doesn't give a pop when they want there to be a pop, that's even worse
True.
if the crowd's there. And I think if you're a fan, and like let's say you're a big Drew McIntyre fan, and he gets the pin over Brock Lesnar, if the crowd boos but you want to cheer for Drew McIntyre, that actually sucks some of the energy out of
That's
the
true.
experience. So it was definitely different.
I kept going back and forth between like, I really appreciate them trying to do this for us, and oh my God, they're killing all these people. Like they should not be in the same room together. Like this is so wrong. So
I mean, they're already professional wrestlers. They're already killing themselves even without a global pandemic.
true.
Is this what
Fair
does
point.
this have? What effect does this have on the life expectancy of a professional wrestler? I'm guessing it's negligible.
Oh.
Oh, that's so dark.
I'm just
That's
saying,
not
so dark.
fine.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's like literally the most dangerous activity
isn't the
a person
80s.
can participate in. And I'm not like trying to dismiss the risk of COVID-19, but I mean they're already. If you're going to worry about wrestler safety, then you can't be a wrestling fan. Just period.
That's a fair point. I'm just saying, if I like, say I caught the coronavirus, like just being like an extra in Rob Gronkowski's 24/7 win, I'd be pretty hot about that.
Yeah.
I was just there to get a stage dive from Gronk, and it's like, oh, how'd you get the virus? Just had to get in that dog pile for Gronk to
Gronk's
jump
point
on me.
slot just dropped right on me.
He's a lot. I'm not particularly a big Gronk fan.
Who is?
There must be somebody.
Yeah.
See,
How
Hambo.
is that?
Yeah,
Everybody is. Hold on.
Well,
Nobody.
you don't
No, they're
know.
not.
You put a script in front of Rob Gronkowski and he falls flat every time. But you just let Gronk.
Okay.
Let
let
Gronk.
him riff.
Let me
Let
ask
him
you this:
go.
Would you hang out with Rob Gronkowski?
Hell
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
And look at the people I hang out with, and even still, I would not hang out with Rob Gronkowski. But that doesn't mean I can't enjoy watching him power spike at football or catching touchdowns.
So, the let's talk about the best parts of WrestleMania. Maybe the best parts.
Just Start with
Wrestling?
the Firefly Funhouse match, and let's not dick around.
both of the matches on both nights that were filmed not in the Performance Center are the best parts of both nights. Can we agree on that?
I don't know if best.
I don't
I don't know.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
The outlier.
Is it the most memorable?
Yes.
Hell yes.
Yep.
That's a hard yes.
yeah,
I gotta forget it. That's a fact.
if you have never eaten anything but vanilla ice cream all your life, and then somebody gives you chocolate ice cream, you're gonna think it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
We-
but this wasn't chocolate ice cream. This was like gummy bear sprinkles, rainbow sherbet, Rocky Road, like mixed in with some
I get
pebbles
it.
from the river that somebody found nearby with like bird seed. This is crazy, craziest shit anybody ever fed anybody in their life. This is not chocolate ice cream.
I was on Bleacher Report or something after the match last night, and it was like everybody was raving about how great it was, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I was
First of
surprised.
all,
That
are we
was
gonna
like
call it a match. I guess we need to establish that right now. Was that a match?
There was no referee, so
Was
I
it
can't
modern art? Was it?
Performance art.
Some kind of,
I mean,
when all the,
maybe-
when AJ Styles suddenly was granted supernatural powers and could summon an army of druids to fight against the Undertaker, that's when I knew we were into some good stuff.
We've talked about how powerful his hair is, so I choose to
Yeah.
just believe that his hair summoned them.
Did you notice the moment where Undertaker, like, it was like right at the end of the match, he was holding his
Yeah.
basically lifeless head, and Undertaker gave him this loving stroke of
he was just like, "Oh,
man.
that's
Oh.
nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Smooth.
It was the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen.
Well,
yeah.
As of Saturday night, that was the weirdest wrestling moment I can remember.
But to me, it just felt like the final deletion, but taking itself seriously. Which
Agreed.
Yeah.
yeah.
what made the final deletion so great was like it was obviously not taking itself so serious. So I didn't really know how to feel about this. I mean,
There were still some
So-
cool moments.
it was cool, but
I loved it, and I'll tell you why.
Thank you.
We have all sat through Undertaker matches where he is hobbling around and he can't really do a whole lot like he used to. With the magic of editing and great production value, Undertaker's a run for another 10 years.
yeah,
Mankind was on Twitter last night talking about, I want to be in next year's Boneyard match. If we can get all the, if we can get old retired wrestlers back with that kind of production value, like Ric Flair could be heavyweight champion again. Like Ric Flair in a strip club match.
Oh my god.
oh yes,
I mean,
sign me up.
the possibilities are now endless. If they went, think about how far they went the last two nights. They can wheel it back in, 50%, and anybody can come out of retirement now.
See, I kind of thought the other matches would have been like 50% of that editing wise, like a more cinematic effect. What I wish they would have done is not lit the whole empty arena and just had like lights on the ring, and so you didn't just, it wasn't so obvious. And then
See
do
the
some of that,
chairs.
yeah, do some of that cool editing stuff because they pre-taped everything.
They had a lot of opportunities, I think, to completely change the way they shot that, and they missed the boat. I agree with you on that. It's so easy just to light the ring. You don't need to see all that because it's gonna be awkward when they're all like, "Yeah," and no one's there. Like
Yeah,
that,
it's
it took me
weird.
out of it when they did that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that.
But the match tonight, I mean,
Who
Which
felt like they
one?
were gripping?
I had to go check my temperature to make sure I didn't have have anything that was making me hallucinate.
I've never done drugs in my life, and now I want to immediately.
they're not that good. Like nothing is that good.
No. Yeah, if we wouldn't have been doing this pod, I would have been
Didn't it?
gone. I would have been like, change the channel. I was like, when is this gonna be over? Holy crap!
It was kind of amazing that like, it reminded me of a nightmare sequence in a video game or something where you're trying to like control your character, but you don't really have control of the situation, and no matter what you do, you're just playing into the hands of the Joker or the Scarecrow or whatever like mad villain is driving you. I think I will have the image of John Cena ripping off those curls burned into my head forever. That was just like even though all he was doing was just standing there doing curls, which is like actually a pretty normal thing he probably does every single day of his life. Somehow it was the creepiest and weirdest and most glorious and majestic thing I've ever seen in my life.
Just from the get-go, I was like, wait, are we supposed to be in John Cena's fever dream? Like, is he being possessed? And then I guess you just have to, you just had to
roll with it.
go
Yeah.
any sense of trying
Well,
to
that's
figure
what
it out.
Byron Saxton did. They came back after they showed 1 second of Titus, They cut to commercial, and then they came back, and they were just like, all right, well, here's the next match, and we're going to just pretend like that didn't happen.
Moving along.
Yeah. Wrestling's real, guys.
Yeah, it's real now. That was something different. This is the real part. And like both of the championship matches were just the exact same match. Like finisher, 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 finisher.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah,
too,
those-
you have to think like they're thinking like long term, and they don't know how long this quarantine's gonna last. So it's,
November.
okay. So they're probably like, let's just wrap it up. Like these big boy matches, we did our we did our artistic thing.
You were gonna say art.
Yeah, we did our avant-garde
Yeah.
showcase piece.
I do like the term avant-garde. Sue me.
It applies. I mean,
It really did.
If ever there was such thing as avant-garde wrestling, we just saw it, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Merci.
What else did you guys like besides the bone?
We just finished watching WrestleMania, and I can't remember or think about anything other than the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah.
The only other thing, and I sort of touched on this in our text thread, the only other thing I remember is Edge's atomic teabag off of the pull-up bar.
Oh yeah, let's talk
in
about
the
that
weight room.
match.
That's like the only other thing that stands out in my mind. And that's not even a criticism of the rest of the show, because there are actually some really good matches, but you can't like put it on the same card as a Firefly Funhouse match and expect my brain to remember that stuff.
Yeah, was the Edge match, was that sort of like in between wrestling and the cinema thing? I mean, that was kind of, but it was like a 7-hour movie is what it felt like to
It
me.
was way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
It was the roots of matches.
But to Brandon's question, I do think they tried to do a lot of the stuff that you guys were wanting them to do.
Yeah.
There were a lot of really dramatic camera shots, from shooting below, and then you see Edge climbing up on something above him. There were lots of, we cut so we can put like a crash pad here and have him fall off and then pull the crash pad away and act like it was never there. They tried a lot of that in that match, and I mean, was it successful? You tell me.
Well, I mean, I
Other than
think
the
too,
atomic teabag, I don't know.
Stop.
What else would you call that?
Yeah, what else do you call it?
That was a strange choice he made.
I don't know what I would call it, but yeah, it was a choice.
Because I was like, he's gonna like kick him in the face, and he's like, no, nuts.
Like,
Nope.
first of all, let's make sure we have like a rolling office chair in our workout room. Why wouldn't you have? And then let me set him on that and get us like 2 swings and go flying into this big T drop. Hey,
My favorite was the sled push. The sled push into
Yes.
him. He got, I lost it. I lost it. I was dying.
Well, I was like, maybe they're gonna actually pretend that it happened because they're gonna edit some cool shot together.
Yeah.
Fucking bust his head, but no, they didn't go for it.
No.
The,
But Edge was acting his ass off. Can
he
we agree?
was.
He was
Yeah.
acting.
He was
Did he
probably like,
murder
man,
Randy Orton?
I think he did. But he was
Yeah.
like, I didn't come back for all this, but here I go.
Yeah.
Going for the Oscar. Yeah.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes, I hate everything about Randy Orton, but the last 10 minutes of that match was absolutely fantastic.
From like the
Yeah.
truck
Edge in
DDT.
tears, the truck
Mhm.
DDT, the jump off the top, Edge crying,
Mhm.
like it was fantastic. So, and
To the murder,
again,
including
until the murder,
that happened.
The murder,
yes,
yeah.
including the murder.
The murder.
So look, if Edge didn't get him, the Corona will. So
Stop.
Oh, that's too real. It's too real. And I saw they were advertising for Money in the Bank. They're like, fuck it. We're just going to keep
Yeah.
going. We'll have somebody to climb a ladder. We
Yep.
don't care.
Why are there so many ladders back there?
There's so many ladders.
I mean, considering what's under the ring, their office actually looked fairly normal for a wrestling company.
But the Edge's elbow drop from why do they have a fence in their conference room? It's
I
NXT.
don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, as somebody whose professional life centers largely around decking out other people's conference rooms, people make weird choices when it comes to that stuff. All right, I've sat in a lot of meetings where somebody's like, it would be pretty good, some chain link fencing up there. Well, yeah.
Okay. We might
You
want
can,
to
like, you can hang from it, and then you can hang from it, and
It's rustic. AJ's hand.
That was the shot that killed me. I was like, that little wooden puppet hand sticking out of the dirt. Oh my God.
Yeah.
uh,
There wasn't that much dirt in that thing. In
Not-
the front loader, there wasn't that much dirt.
He needed
No.
at least 4 more loads
Yeah.
in that front loader.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part of that match
Yeah.
that I took umbrage with.
Yeah.
Logistically, the soil transfer wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
It wasn't
No,
a
no,
match
no,
at
no.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you had me until that. And I was like, this
Yeah.
Sign out.
is fake.
This isn't real.
This is bullshit.
Not the
Druid-
druids.
No, not the druids, who were like the
Why
worst
did they
trained druids ever.
You punch them and they disappear like a video game.
Yeah, that's what
Where did they go? Like Gallows and Anderson, he hit them and then they disappeared and were never seen again.
Yeah.
The
No,
same.
I have a problem with that.
19.
Although in that,
Honestly, The only thing I would want to change about the Boneyard match is when Undertaker fell into the grave, and everybody in the world knew he was going to like resurrect out of the grave.
Sure.
I was really hoping it would be he would have dropped the American Badass shtick and come out as like the dead man. Undertaker.
I thought he was too, but
I really missed that.
is he the American Badass if they don't play Limp Bizkit? I mean, or Kid Rock?
If he has a bald on top but braided ponytail down to his ass in the back,
He is.
dyed like this weird, sickly jet black color, then yes, that's the American Badass.
Okay.
The chaps, the laced up chaps,
He reminded me. You remember when Jerry Rice was on Dancing with the Stars and had
the corn over.
skull corn over? Yeah.
The
What?
corn over.
Rough.
He was
Yeah.
balding, but he had corn rolls, and
Yeah.
people were calling it.
He
the
hung
corn
on for
over.
way too long.
Yeah. Way too long.
Yeah.
It's offensive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
I'm good with 10 more years of this Undertaker though. Keep the bandana on.
Yeah.
I like American
you know,
Badass.
lots of leather,
Roll.
motorcycles. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. It's a whole new world now that they're doing matches like this. So
Is this the future of wrestling, or will they just go back once they can?
no, I don't think so. As
Yeah.
well received as it's been, that's the only 2 matches people are talking about.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
know,
I mean,
man.
Like,
Are they going to do that next WrestleMania, though? Like, they can't have a
That's-
filmed match.
I mean, why couldn't they?
I think they will. I think they'll like sprinkle them in.
Yeah. Why
I'm
couldn't
just
they?
saying because if people are coming to the show to see, like, you know what I'm saying?
Then they'll
Mhm.
watch it on the big on the.
Yeah, they'll stay at the big
Titantron.
That's not what they paid their money for. They paid their money.
Oh shit! They make more money with us than people go with the shows.
I'm just
Look,
saying.
Tori, New Day in like an anime match. Come on.
Oh,
No.
I mean-
I'd be there.
Xavier
Now you're
Woods gets to
talking. Now
yeah,
you're talking.
yeah.
I see what you're putting
Yeah.
down, and I'm picking it up.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't. Are you guys going to start watching again?
No, don't. God, I hope not.
Of course not. Of course
I was
not.
talking to my wife earlier, and I was like, I wouldn't even be watching this if I didn't have to do the podcast. And she's like, What do you mean? You guys are doing the podcast again? You're back in it. I'm like, Oh my God. Why would you be so hurtful? They should do these on Raw. Like every once in a while, do one on Raw. Don't do it on pay-per-view. Give us some pre-tape matches on Raw.
That could be all Raw. Would be like a cinematic match
No,
after
you guys are
cinematic match.
crazy. You guys are crazy
Yeah.
if you think they would ever do that. The
But,
live
yeah, they sell too many
experience is the
tickets.
whole point of it.
Yeah, but they can make
That-
people sit through the crowd.
You guys are thinking old world. This is new world.
It's a whole new world.
Corona
Well,
world.
it's Trump's,
I mean,
it's Trump's America.
There.
Yeah.
No, we'll be back in business by Easter, baby. Don't you worry about it.
Oh,
We'll be back at Raw next weekend.
it's
Yeah.
fine. Everyone's healthy.
Everyone's good.
Everyone's good.
But yeah,
Also, shout out to Roman Reigns for not wrestling.
oh my God, no kidding.
Shout out to him. Good for you, man.
That would
Why
have been
is he
such a
getting-
bad idea.
Why is he getting a shout out though?
Because he actually stood up for his health and was like, hey, I'm immunely compromised and I should not be wrestling.
He's like, I read something on the news about none of this should be happening, so I'm just gonna stay home.
Pass.
I don't know. I read an article, and I don't know if it's. Let me say, rephrase, not an article, but a blurb on social media.
Yeah,
That
an
apparently
Instagram
There
meme
it
is
is.
what he means.
Brock, apparently, I don't know if it's true. I have no credibility here. So Brock Lesnar apparently tore into Vince McMahon about all this, like that nothing should WrestleMania shouldn't happen. None of this should have been happening, and like they're all crazy for doing it. I guess that I don't mind putting two together. That's why the match was so short because Brock was pissed that he was even there.
Brock's matches are always short.
I feel like Brock is always pissed he's at there.
Yeah.
He's never like,
True.
yay, WrestleMania. Like, he's like, I'm here.
Let's get it over with.
Let's do
Pay
this.
me.
Write that check. So
Have you guys been watching AEW at all?
more than WWE.
Yeah, me too.
That's not saying a whole lot though.
I haven't watched it like on the regular, but I'll check out like the
Yeah.
highlights, and it seems way more interesting.
Yeah.
Until tonight. Until the Funhouse.
Yeah.
Well,
Man,
I mean, hey, WWE, I think it's always good for WWE to have a competitor because they're like, okay,
Yeah.
let me set my game up. They need somebody to get them hungry, and I think it worked out.
I like what AEW is doing with the young people and tying them to old people. Like, I don't know who the guy is with Jake the Snake Roberts, but he's got credibility to me because he's with Jake the Snake Roberts. So
Yeah, I like it. I can't imagine Monday I'm gonna tune into Raw though. I just can't imagine. Although
well,
quarantine
it's on
life.
the DVR. Yeah.
I mean, I'd say
Yeah.
there's like at least a 20% chance that we've all, after that Firefly Funhouse match, we've all had some sort of like worm implanted in our brains.
coming up
It
nightmares.
may not be up to us anymore. We're all going to be like slowly migrating to the performance center now.
Yeah.
I always check in
Sort
on
of
it.
like
with
mass
each friend.
sacrifice.
I always check in, like I'll turn on Raw, like, oh, hey buddies, hey guys, like, how you doing? How are the kids? Like that's really how I view it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just John Cena in wrestling tights was even like off-putting. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Put your shorts back on, man.
Sold that.
Yeah.
He sold it.
He sold all of it. I mean,
He's the GOAT.
that's why he came back. He's like, I'm not coming back for a match. I'll come back for a movie.
Yeah.
I only do movies now.
Good for
I
him.
do think that John Cena is like one of the only wrestlers who could read that script and be like, I
Yeah.
can pull this off. I can make this work.
I got it.
Yep, I got this.
Sure. Okay, we all enjoyed the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match, but I think we all have to recognize there's at least some possibility, and I'd like to know how much possibility you think there is, that in 10 or 15 years, we look back on this exactly the same way we currently look back on the Yeti or the like monster truck on the roof match or whatever. Like, are people going to look back on this as an all-time low mark for the WWE? I think it's possible.
I think it's how you view it. Because like, for me, if you view it as the whole world is crazy, this is a weird situation we're all in, and WWE was like, you know what, we're going to put on a show. Then 20 years from now, that is a great show.
No, but
You know what I'm saying?
the
Entertainment-
WWE is in the business of putting on wrestling shows, right?
No, they're
like
not.
these weird.
They're in the business of entertainment. Are they called wrestlers or are they called superstars?
I don't know.
They're putting out movies. They're putting out albums. They're putting out video games.
Hey, worldwide,
They're doing-
everything.
They're doing apparently Netflix TV shows with the Big Show.
I
Like,
kinda wanna see that.
I'm totally gonna
I'm
watch
very excited about it.
Really
Is there anyone else on this
pumped about
podcast who's seen the Big Show's movie?
What movie is
No.
it?
He was like he worked in like an orphanage or something, and he wanted to go make it in Hollywood. I don't even remember, but I've seen it. Like
Captain
I went down
Captain Insano?
so, yeah, I sat one like over a weekend and watched like the Big Show movie, the Edge movie, and the Triple H movie, and they were all.
My God, what a weekend.
That's
I'm
a
here.
rough weekend.
That's a dark
Yeah.
time.
That was before.
Yeah.
That was before Liz. I guarantee
Oh,
you. I
clearly.
guarantee you.
Yeah,
Liz is not going.
yeah. You were probably in the other room while I was doing all this. So,
I had no idea what madness lay just beyond those walls.
Yeah, Ben, I think you might be right. I don't know. I was watching it because my kids were like kind of excited that WrestleMania was on, and so we turned it on when the
And then it
Boneyard
started.
match was on, and they're like, I don't like this. They're like, this makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, okay. It also makes me uncomfortable, but in a different way,
Alone.
I think.
What is it? The Undertaker's hair? Is that what turned him off?
I think that could have been it. When the bandana came off, they're like, "Whoa, what's going on in the back there? Is it shaved up to the here? And then what is going
Dad,
on?"
why don't you try that?
Yeah, I could. Yeah. I have the same ability he does.
Like
Anyways,
it. I don't think it's
I'm
gonna be
not
the
trying to
Yeti.
make a- I'm not trying to make a stand one way or the other, but I think we'd be remiss not to mention that this is at least in the ballpark. This is like a RoboCop coming out of the cage.
No, it's
Potential.
not that bad. No.
Potential, yes. I'm not saying for sure,
No.
but
I mean,
I don't know, man.
we're years away from the final deletion, and it still, you know, we don't look back at that like that.
the final deletion was not WrestleMania. The final deletion was like some brothers in their
Yeah.
backyard dicking around.
And they were like, "Hey, this will be funny," you know,
Yeah.
like, which it
Like,
Fair
was.
point.
The
This
Yeti
like
was
Undertaker's-
WCW. Like,
This was the Undertaker like regaining control of his legacy. I mean, this was John Cena's return to professional wrestling at WrestleMania. I mean, these are as wrestling goes, there are stakes here for these things.
yeah,
This is what they went for.
that's
and
why I think
got,
it
like,
holds up.
we give them crap all the time for like not having the courage to take risks and just like going with the same formula all the time. So God bless them for what they attempted here.
Man.
And I think in a lot of ways it was successful. But man, there's just like a lot of potential that when we're not all cooped up in our houses for 3 straight weeks, and we're not all living in the midst of this global pandemic, and we've actually seen a sunset, and we might be looking at this a little differently.
Well, one thing we can all agree on, I think, and we've said this on the podcast many years ago, the WWE like video team, like y'all deserve all the
The
awards.
greatest.
Bravo.
They are
greatest
incredible.
team in the world. Like, I'm sorry.
But did you think this
Together
lived up?
package.
Did you think that the production value on these matches, particularly the Boneyard match, did you think it lived up to that reputation?
I'm more thinking like from like an editing standpoint.
From an editing standpoint, I mean, it was because they didn't go all the way, right? They still like they had one foot in the cinema world and they had one foot in the this is a wrestling match world still. So they were kind of trying to have it both ways, and I do think that it suffered. There was a lot of like, I've got AJ by the hair and I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking and I and I push him into this thing.
And I'm walking.
And I'm grunting. And
It was interesting hearing everyone's like personal sounds. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting.
I didn't need it. I didn't need it.
Oh, I liked it.
I think it brought me in Charlotte's match. She and Ripley were just like screaming, and I was like, somebody's got to help them. She's in pain. Somebody's got to get in there.
Yeah, theirs was good. I don't know, guys. I think it's just like, I mean, one, we haven't watched wrestling hardcore in a while.
No.
Two, we've been in our houses for I don't know how long. I mean,
love
I really don't know when this started.
It's been at least 2 years. I think,
Has it been?
right?
Was it 2 years ago that this started?
So.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
anybody still employed? Does anybody still have a job? You do?
Sort of.
Okay. Nice. Awesome.
Mhm.
Sort of. Cool. Yeah.
I'm
I
kind of
think
in an office space situation
People on
that
this
they're
call
not
don't
paying
even
me.
like have real jobs anyways. You can't ask
Yeah.
them.
oh, good point. Yeah. I think I'm just going like a little bit insane in my house. So the Firefly Funhouse was like, I'll go through that door. Fuck it. Where's that door? I'll come in. Is there something different on the other side of it?
Yeah. Maybe it's better. Who
Because
knows?
I'm out of food, and maybe you got some snacks back there. I went through my snacks real quick.
I wish they had had like a quarantine themed room to that. I would have felt more seen.
It's like
It's true.
they're like, all right, John, you just got to stay in here in your sweatpants for 2 weeks. We'll check back in with you.
He's like, cool, got it.
Cool.
Good luck.
Because that's how it's been for me.
Has anybody put
So
on
it's been-
pants?
I put on
Wearing-
pants. I had like shorts on.
Sweat shorts
Yeah,
right now.
Sweat
I
shorts.
also have on sweatshorts.
I did go see we kept distance from him, but went to go see Mr. and Mrs. Hitman yesterday, and he answered the door, or came outside with no pants on, and she had to wrap a blanket around herself because she did not have pants on. So
Star.
Yeah.
So
That sounds sexier than it was. We
yeah.
were literally just eating potato chips.
On day 4 of the same
Snacks
underwear.
are sexy. What's the longest you all have gone without taking a shower?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I will tell you, I texted my brother, who is a doctor, and asked him how long before it becomes medically unsafe, and he said, no limit.
No limit. You're going to test that. You got to test it. You're like, actually, Rich, my own personal study has come up with different results.
Unless like something happens, for instance, yesterday I mowed the lawn, so then I had to shower after that. Unless something like that happens, there's no time limit, right?
But your body creates funk. Like it just be like you're gonna
Yeah.
sweat.
It smells really bad in here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. I'm just telling you my reality right now.
Now, see, I've been taking walks outside, so I'm going full biohazard. So I walk in the door and just like strip down and go straight to the shower after a walk. So I'm actually taking more showers. So I'm taking like usually 2 showers a day so I can defunk and make sure the corona doesn't get me.
Not on
That's
a
just me.
Are there people near you on your walk? Is that why? Or just
No.
being out in the air? Just
Just being out in the air. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't trust downtown. I don't know what's floating around.
No.
What's still, the remnants. So just in case.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There's definitely been days I've gotten to the end of the day and been like,
Yeah.
did I shower yesterday? Or was that the day before? Did I brush my teeth today? I meant to.
Mrs. Lunchbox is keeping me. She is keeping me honest. So, like, you didn't shower yesterday. Go take a shower. So,
Yeah, somebody should definitely have a log. You're keeping it written down.
Like you see in like a gas station bathroom, it was like last cleaned on, April 2nd.
We just gotta wear those signs around our neck. Last cleaned up. Like, no. I honestly don't know what today is.
Have you seen that like clip of some like local news and they started a segment called "What Day Is It?" and they have like all these graphics like "What day is it? What day is it?" and it goes to like their weatherman and he just points at a calendar. He goes, "It's Wednesday." That's back to the rest of the news because no one knows what day it is anymore.
yeah.
Have you guys started anything like learning a new hobby or anything like that?
I am slowly going to start investing my money into tigers. You can get one. You can get one for like $2,000.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. So
That's a
if you want
steal.
one, save your money, $2,000. So
Talk about Tiger King because I've got some thoughts.
Yeah, I don't want a
Oh
tiger,
my
but I do want a cult, and it seems like tigers are the only way you get a cult.
key to a
the way to
cult.
do it.
So,
What are your-
Everybody on that show is awful.
and if that bitch,
Awesome.
Yeah.
if that bitch Carol Baskin is listening, we know what you did.
Yeah, fuck you, Carol. We know.
Sardine oil.
We know.
Yeah.
We know.
I see your
Color just
husband's
makes them
hand.
drool.
Your husband's hand
Yeah.
right here. He was in a tiger boneyard match.
Yeah, I mean everything. As much as our wrestling reality has changed with these boneyard matches and such, I have to live in a world now where I know that there's a Tiger King reality in the actual real world. So
Yeah.
maybe the boneyard match isn't quite as out there as I thought.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
true.
Yeah, that really puts it in perspective right there.
Yeah.
There is a tiger
Yeah.
at the New York Zoo that caught coronavirus, and everyone was blaming Carol Baskin.
Oh, that's amazing.
They're like, Carol, I know.
Look,
That bitch, Carol.
Yeah, you got to call her by her full legal name, that bitch Carol Baskin. So,
Everyone on that show is just awful. There's like,
Oh,
God.
yeah.
You're just like, oh, that's crazy. And they're like, no, hold on.
No.
Wait,
yeah.
wait till the next 30
Just
seconds.
Give it a minute.
So I was, I think I told the story to Sam already, but I came in, Connie was watching that, and I was working. And I came into the room, and Joe Exotic's first husband was on screen being interviewed, just topless.
John.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, why is this dude not wearing a shirt? This is like really weird. And she just looks at me and she's like, all right, hold on. If this is what's weird to you, you don't need to, you need to just walk out of the room right now.
It's the most normal
That was all
thing
off.
happening.
So I have seen it. My son has seen it. The 13-year-old is interested in watching it. What do we think?
No.
I want to
She
know
needs
why
to
your
know.
son has seen it.
She needs to know.
No.
That's what.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's.
There are a lot of
This
Joe
is-
Exotics out there, right? She needs
That's
to
true.
We don't know what
be
kind of
prepared.
world we're coming out of after
So there's a
this.
lot of
She needs to be ready.
vagabonds out there that she needs to be aware of.
That's exactly.
The vagabond weird guy.
Okay. So
Oh,
Tori
God.
said she can watch it.
No, I did not say that. Do
I'll
not
tell
say
Mrs. Lunchbox you said
She's
that.
old enough.
You're not old enough for this.
Yes,
No.
she is.
I mean, we're not old enough for
What
that.
age- I mean, yeah. What age do you become like? Oh, now I'm glad I waited till I was 30 because now I'm ready to see.
I'm emotionally
all
ready
makes
for this.
sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're like, well, this is the world
Yeah.
of adults here, so I
Yeah.
understand.
Just blew his brains out in front of that guy. I mean,
That was fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Poor baby Travis. Like,
who
Jesus.
does that?
but like Joe Exotic was so manipulative. Like, they're all evil.
I mean,
He invited his mom to the next wedding just so it would look like, yeah,
I mean-
she's true.
talk about rubbing his balls in his face at his funeral.
At the funeral.
Like,
At the
I
funeral.
can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a good singer, though.
yeah.
Those tunes are catchy. I'm telling
Those
you.
tunes are catchy.
They are catchy.
I know he didn't sing them or write them, but they were catchy tunes.
That's a fact.
They were very catchy tunes.
Did you see
I
those
mean,
videos
those some
of people?
Hitman tunes.
They're not at that
Although
level.
you
They're
sing
not at that level.
Yeah. Look me up,
Yeah.
Joe Exotic. We can collab.
I mean,
Hey, next thing you know, your husband number whatever. You know?
Yeah, I would expect nothing less.
Yeah.
this will be the last time we see Hitman with a shirt on.
And teeth.
And
Indeed.
And he already had his pants off earlier, so.
Yeah.
There we go.
he clearly doesn't shower, so
Mhm.
No, that's
If anything,
that's
I'm
totally fair game.
overqualified to be one of his husbands.
That's a fact.
I think we should since we're gonna, I mean, you guys want to do this more often? This podcast thing while we're on quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm game.
It doesn't have to be about wrestling.
We can just meet up and talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty much what we're doing.
I do not feel any requirement to watch wrestling every week like we used to feel like we had to.
Can we just?
I never did.
Can we watch it? Can we do it over NWA Power because it's only 30 minutes?
Is that still on?
I think so. I don't
Where
know.
do you watch it?
YouTube.
On the YouTubes? Okay.
On the YouTubes. Yeah.
It's pretty fairgroundsy, isn't it?
It's very fair.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I did
I
tune
mean-
in once and saw
Yeah.
that the Rock and Roll Express were the tag team champions
Yeah.
in this
Oh.
year.
Yeah.
The original
Yes.
lineup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yes.
Shut up. How old are they?
Okay.
They were
Older
old,
than
like,
us.
When I was
Yeah.
Yeah. They're 60s. Has anybody been keeping up with Dark Side of the Ring?
I haven't
I have-
started this
That is-
season.
I'm watching. Yeah, we're in the midst of
Oh.
going through the first season.
Yeah. I watched the New Jack episode last night, and you think the Boneyard match is twisted. He's out here stabbing fools and tasing them and throwing them off the scaffold. Like, I was aware, like, I knew about New Jack, but holy shit.
What?
Stabbing people in the ring with a scalpel. Like,
What?
have y'all not heard any of this?
No.
Oh,
No.
watch it. The mass transit incident. Yeah.
Where do you
Some,
watch these?
It's on Vice.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I totally have Vice. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know
is that
exactly-
like
I totally know
Yeah,
exactly
Vice.
where to
Let me
find
just,
Vice.
That's a website, right?
Yeah.
Pull out my TV guide and
Oh.
find out what channel Vice is on.
TV guide.
Do you have the February copy? It didn't come
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
to my
You know,
house.
it's funny, some videos.
Have the kids
I'm
sit up there and
tagging on
turn the knob until it comes up on Vice.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
What night is it on? So I'll set my.
Tuesday,
I'll
set
write
your
it down in my
VCR.
calendar.
Make
Yeah,
sure your
program.
VCR look.
Okay.
Make sure your VCR is on set down channel 3.
Okay, I'm gonna have to tape over some Matlock. But
Tori, have you ever seen an episode of Matlock?
No.
You know who stars in Matlock?
No. Am I supposed to?
It's Andy Griffith.
it would be really weird if you did.
Right, it would be weird. Yeah.
It would be really
I'm
weird.
actually
No, I
curious as
don't
to why
know.
he's singling Tori out to ask her about this.
Because she's young. I figured the rest of you were old enough to have seen an episode of Matlock. I know
Of
Brandon
course.
did. It was
Of
on when he
course.
was in high school.
Yep. That's
Was
true.
it really?
Yeah, I think it was.
Y'all old.
Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
you're the one drinking white wine out of a coffee cup.
Oh.
That's about being old.
This is
Blast.
as a real housewife of no one. It's quarantine. There are no rules, guys.
There are no rules.
Y'all are old.
There are no rules.
Do you guys have a time that you are okay to start drinking during the day? During the quarantine, not just in normal. Like,
It's like, wait, what? Like three or four.
yeah.
You know. Well, I get some work done.
Yeah, I still have to work, man.
Yeah.
I'm-
Every day. I have a call at 8:15 every morning.
Ooh.
It's the only reason I get out of bed.
That's exactly why they schedule the
I
league.
know.
Yeah.
Yep,
He's-
I know what they're
yeah.
doing.
He's not a fool, sadly. So,
Yeah, no, I'm a glass of wine before bed, girl.
Hmm.
It's for my heart.
Yeah.
It's just
You're
red
s-
wine.
You're so healthy.
This is all about health, guys.
Just keeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I got antioxidants.
That's what you
Mhm.
just got to fight off the bad.
But La Rona by using white wine. I don't know.
Well, I gotta say, I was pretty excited that like some of the people that listen to our show, when we put out that picture of us, were like, "Yeah, hell yeah! Tell me this is really happening." Like,
They're all living that quarantine life too.
I guess
mean,
so.
yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe you guys remember us. It's been
Yeah.
a long time.
It's been a while.
It's funny. I posted a history video maybe like a week or so ago, and someone was like, "Oh, I really like this. But can you bring Bear Hug It Out back?" And I was thinking in my head like, "You don't even know what I have planned."
I already Garfunkel those guys. So
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
Whatever. I'm right here.
Totally.
still here.
Still here.
Why don't you promote all your other stuff before we go, Tori?
I mean, if you guys are into history, just follow me. I don't know. I'm horrible promoting.
Professional grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All we have is history now. There's no new things happening.
Yeah.
So
That
Yes.
is
Present and the
I'm into
future
history.
So if you're into history, you can follow me at my, at Tori Yatesor on Twitter and Instagram, and I will give you a history lesson. The most recent one was about the flu of 1918 that has a lot of similarities to what we're going through right now, including, racism and our leaders not taking it very seriously. So.
Oh, awesome.
Can we do a,
Awesome, yeah.
can we do a podcast on the last 3 years?
What?
Just the last 3 years, a podcast.
No, it's weirder than the Firefly
yeah.
Funhouse.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not.
It is a fun house, but like not the scary.
But you have another podcast too, like one that sounds professional.
Yeah, I do. I actually do have another podcast. It's called Skeleton Keys. It's about history and myth and pop culture. And for all the wrestling fans, we did one on the WWE as the modern day Mount Olympus and the Greek gods. So I always got to pull my love of wrestling into something that I do. So I did it with Skeleton Keys, me and John Booker, who is an amazing mythologist.
Nice.
That was a really good episode.
A
He has
mythologist?
a PhD in mythology. He's like legit.
I'm a mythologist. All right.
I got a PhD in economics.
That was exactly what I was going to say. That sounds like that's a professional wrestler's job right there.
I hope John Cena never comes back.
You can't see me.
No, actually, we still can.
Technically, we still can.
It's a picture of you. Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys, do you want to promote something before we go out?
You want to promote themselves?
Yeah, I also have a history podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
We also have a mythologist, a competing mythologist.
Don't you have 2 mythologists on your show?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both have a PhD actually, which is just
Wow.
like one step higher in mythology.
Yeah.
Tori, you know about those PhDs.
I don't know about them
You don't know about them double Ds?
I don't. I haven't heard about those.
Our viewership would be up if you'd
Y'all are not playing no games. No one's seen any of this. Okay. Literally no one.
Yeah, give her a couple more hits of that mug. And then
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
It's for my heart. Thank you.
Remember Tori's like her audio bite on our old podcast? What was it, on private? Like anybody around me? And look what you've done. Look what you've done.
Look at what you've done.
Honestly,
No one is
I
around
think
you.
I'm flourishing in quarantine.
Are you really?
I really do, because I've gotten so much work done. Like, I'm naturally an introvert. I don't like people around me. It's kind of like I'm very.
You're happy for all the death and famine
No,
and
I'm not. I
destruction?
knew you were going to go that direction.
Oh, whatever. Hey, if it's good for
It's so
you,
dark. It's so dark.
if it's good for you, that's great.
That's not what I was saying. And
We're all going to be AJ Styles. So,
just one.
yeah, one hand up.
It has to be like a mannequin though. Mannequin hands are just like dead.
Mhm.
I don't even know if there's 5 fingers in that glove.
Yeah, that's not even a hand. That's just like somebody put like a 2x4 in the ground and
Yes.
stuck a glove over the
Yes.
top of it.
That's totally what that is.
It's going to be my Halloween decoration now. So, yeah.
Oh man, if you
Oh,
did your whole house up as the boneyard.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
You can choke slam me off the roof,
Yep.
Can I be one of your
and I'll
druids?
just get up. I'll just get
Yeah.
up from that. You know.
I'll be
I
a
wanna-
druid.
Yeah, I want to be a druid because I only have like 10 minutes to be there.
We could just
9 minutes and 57 seconds too much. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right, that's true. Well, most of it's just waiting for them to give you the.
punch them and they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
There you go.
Oh, Andrew's really taking advantage of the multimedia aspect.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I live in an IT world, so.
Yeah, this is high production value, baby.
So,
All right. Well, it's so good to see you guys. I think we
Good
should
to
do this
see you guys.
again at a sometime. Oh, Marty.
That-
How many Martys can
Oh,
we put
Marty.
in one picture?
I spent basically a full hour downloading different Marty Jannetty backgrounds and
Yeah.
formatting them so that his head would be in just the right spot.
Yeah, that's key.
one with him and his daughter.
I
Oh.
do not. I
Okay.
don't know I actually don't know what you're talking about.
What are you referencing?
when you say that?
That he, you want to tell me? I know.
I don't-
Nighthawk knows.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, do I want to know what you're talking about?
It's Joe Exotic territory. I mean,
Yeah, he was trying to sleep with his daughter, or
Oh, no,
with his stepdaughter.
I'm sorry.
did-
He
he did-
specifically said you don't do that because that's daughter and you don't go there. All right. He specifically
he
said that.
did. He did say that. He's like, but I mean,
But
From a guy's side, but from a guy's side.
yeah,
I mean, who else do we know that talked about? You know, if she wasn't my daughter,
Yeah.
I might sleep with her.
that's true.
Yeah, and now he's
So Marty Jannetty,
Next president.
2020.
yeah. One of them is in the WWE Hall of Fame, and the other is Marty Jannetty. So, a WWE Hall of Famer is getting us through a global pandemic.
We're in good hands.
It's not Stone Cold. Stone Cold can get us through this.
Stone Cold could get us through anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Pour beer all over yourself. Fine. It's alcohol will kill it. Is that Marty Jannetty? In that picture, he looks way too healthy.
Well, it's young Marty Jannetty.
Is that him? It looks like
I don't
Marty
think it's-
Jannetty
it looks
as Michael
different.
J. Fox.
Yeah.
So,
Or Michael
Or
J.
Dirty
Fox playing
Dancing.
Marty Jannetty.
That's the guy who played Marty Jannetty in the Rockers movie.
There we go. That's a
Oh,
good one.
that's new Rockers,
Yeah.
Marty Jannetty.
That's Janetti, I
more
know.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What else you got? We would do this all night.
Yeah.
We literally can't
Why
go
would
anywhere.
Actually,
why
we
would
only
I
have.
have downloaded anything other than Marty Jannetty background?
Actually, we can only do this 10 more minutes because I have not upgraded my Zoom.
We're not going to.
Mhm.
Ain't no reason. Ain't no reason.
Ain't no reason for that.
No.
way.
I'm going to save some backgrounds for our next podcast. That's what I'm going to do.
Ben's just
Leave some in the
Ooh.
chamber.
spending
Leave
them.
some in the chamber.
I mean, people put out the bat signal when we answered, so we got to save a little something for them.
Mhm.
All right, let's do it again.
Let's do it,
All
guys.
right.
I'll have a background next time.
I won't.
And
I don't know how to
more.
do it.
Yeah. This is what you're getting from me. I have one room in the house I can do
Yeah.
this in. This is it.
All right, I like it.
Box looks like
You
he's
guys are already-
like he's in bed, like he's laying all the way, you know,
Yes.
reclined all the way back.
He's in
I'm
AJ's coffin that he rolled up to the match in. That's the podcast.
Yeah.
All right,
Time.
until next time. Love you guys.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.